The moment each and every one of us landed on this earth, we signed up for something very unique, perhaps not very knowingly, that this life is going to be a roller coaster ride, full of ups and downs, lots of challenges, lots of changes. Many a time the road may be very bumpy. And we are meant to live or even thrive in such a space. Initially, we somehow were able to do very well. But somewhere down the line, we lost the art. And if you lose the art, and if you're not able to cope up, we can get injuries and we may also lose hope. We are here today to see how we can step into the future now with hope and healing. A very good evening to all of you, Your Excellency, dignitaries, and distinguished guests. On behalf of Raj Yoga Center, greetings of peace to one and all. To gain the most from this evening, may I request that all of us, if you've not done it already, put your mobiles on mute. Yeah, silently is always welcome. I wish to specially acknowledge the presence of our dignitaries, His Excellency, Mr. Sunjay Sudhir, the Ambassador of India to UAE, Sister Jayanti, the Additional Administrative Head of the Brahma Kumaris, and Sister Jyoti, the Director of Raj Yoga Centers in UAE, Oman, and Qatar. And also we have amongst us Mrs. Vandana Sudhir, the wife of His Excellency. Their presence is testimony for their care and concern for each and every one of us. So let's put our hands together and acknowledge and appreciate their presence here. This evening would not have been possible without the Raj Yoga Center. They've actually been for many years putting immense efforts to see how they could bring the best out in every individual. And it'll be great for us to start this evening off with a video with which we can actually see all the activities that they have been relentlessly and tirelessly doing just for all of us.
The quieter you become, the more you can hear. Situated in Hurair first, close to the diplomatic area in Dubai, the Raj Yoga Center has become a favorite venue for people from all walks of life, seeking a common experience of peace, happiness, and well-being. Raj Yoga Center is committed to helping individuals follow their personal growth and transformation through a unique model of teaching and learning. It offers a practical method of meditation that guide individuals to better understanding of their inner strengths and universal truths. Regular practice relaxes the mind and nurtures a healthy balance between one's inner and outer worlds. The center provides an ideal environment for enhancing the well-being of every individual by promoting spiritual understanding, integrity in leadership, and elevated actions towards building a better society. The Raj Yoga Center is uniquely designed with an ambience for self-contemplation and deeply fulfilling experiences. Discover the virtue that will help you overcome any challenge that you may be facing as you spin the virtue wheel and shower your mind with positivity by sitting under the value tree. The center houses a quiet room, providing a suitable ambience for anyone wanting to unwind, relax, and reconnect. Well-equipped, spacious rooms are continuously utilized for a wide range of meditation courses, public talks, workshops, seminars, retreats, and numerous social activities. Over the years, Raj Yoga Center has hosted many successful events in partnership with various community organizations and key government initiatives, which helped many to gain positive perspectives towards a personal, family, and professional life. It has held various activities with the Dubai Police, the Federal Transport Authority, the Green Sheikh of Ajman, as well as some private organizations and companies. Moreover, the center hosted the first ever local conference of youth on climate change in the UAE. As part of its continuing community engagement, several activities at Raj Yoga Center are held, such as Raj Yoga Meditation, Monday Talks, Women Empowerment, Enlightened Kids, Shining Stars, and Virtue Cafe. It also organizes dedicated meditation classes for beginners and self-development talks in the Arabic language, facilitated by Arab practitioners of Raj Yoga meditation. Raj Yoga meditation is a week-long course designed to help individuals learn and practice the essentials of Raj Yoga meditation. Raj Yoga essentially is yoga of the mind, where inner empowerment begins. Monday Talks is an hour-long session held on Mondays every month, focused on practical solutions to everyday issues. They are designed to inform, enrich, and inspire. These talks are facilitated by experienced professionals who have been practicing Raj Yoga meditation for years. Women empowerment. A woman is much greater than the role she plays. By attending these sessions, women rediscover different tools and techniques for self-esteem, time management, and self-empowerment. Enlightened Kids is a workshop held once a month for children of all nationalities between the ages of 6 and 12 years. It is designed to help develop young minds in being more caring towards each other and in creating a value-based society. Shining Stars is an inspirational program for teens between 13 and 17 that would address challenges generally faced by them with respect to education and relationships. Virtue Cafe is a meeting in a cafe-like setting designed for young adults to explore, express, and exchange virtues in a creative, meaningful, and yet relaxed and engaging way. They participate and learn from conversations and activities and return committed to applying virtues in their lives. Visit the Raj Yoga Center. Your journey within begins here.
So there's a lot happening at the Raj Yoga Center in Dubai, and I'm sure we all have wonderful reasons to go there. Definitely, we all want to relax. We like to feel more easy. We want to beat, I think, one word, which is the most common word that is becoming so, I would say, prevalent. And even I had a 6-year-old or a 7-year-old tell me this word, and that's what took me by surprise, and that is stress. And I'm sure we all have good opportunities for us to visit there and to free ourselves and relieve ourselves from stress or anxiety or any of those issues which we may be facing. I would like to now call upon the usherers to escort our dignitaries onto the podium. So Sister Jayanti, His Excellency Mr. Sunjay Sudhir, and Sister Jyoti.
Will last forever.
Well, the place is already wonderful. Let's add beauty and fragrance to this existing ambience by offering bouquet of flowers to our dignitaries on stage.
Never fade away. Never cause me pain.
Sister Jyoti, the director of the Raj Yoga centers in Oman, UAE, and Qatar, has been relentlessly serving humanity for over 50 years now. Under her able administration, meditation centers in the above countries are serving hundreds of thousands of individuals, communities, and organizations. The services have spanned every continent of the world. She is an epitome of love and humanity and firmly believes by regular and constant attention to spiritual lifestyle, an individual will be able to gain mastery over the obstacle and enrich their lives. Let us put our hands together and invite Sister Jyoti to make her welcome address.
Greetings of peace and good evening. On behalf of the Raj Yoga Center, it's give me great pleasure in welcoming all of you to today's experiential talk on Step into the Future with Hope and Healing. A special welcome to our keynote speaker, Sister Jayanti, Additional Administrative Head of the Brahma Kumaris, a flying angel who tirelessly travels across the globe for spiritual service and always accepts our invitation to visit UAE to share her deep wisdom. We really appreciate her care and support. We have amongst us esteemed dignitaries. I welcome His Excellency Sunjay Sudhir, Ambassador of India to UAE, who has taken time out from his busy schedule to be amongst us. Your presence today is invaluable. In my past interaction with him, I have felt the care and concern he has for others with whom he connects to. We have all heard the saying, Jaisi karni, waisi bharni, which means as you sow, so shall you reap. In other words, we are designing our future through our present actions. Most of us understand this, but there is a huge gap between our understanding and in putting that into practice. This is mainly because we are not paying sufficient attention to the seed of our actions, that is our thoughts. This evening, I'm sure all of you will experience and take back practical ways of creating an elevated present and hence a brighter future for both you and those around you. With this, I welcome everyone to participate fully and enjoy the program. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sister Jyoti. And yes, I'm sure it's a very good inspiration for all of us to focus on our thoughts and to look at our today so that we have a better tomorrow. Mr. Sunjay Sudhir, His Excellency, has joined the Indian Foreign Service in 1993. Besides being India's ambassador to the UAE, Mr. Sudhir is also India's permanent representative to IRENA. In a diplomatic career spanning about 3 decades, His Excellency has done 7 overseas postings. He served as High Commissioner of India to the Maldives. He headed the International Cooperation Division at the Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas in New Delhi. He was Consul General of India in Sydney, Counselor at the Permanent Mission of India to the World Trade Organization, Geneva. He also served in various capacities at the Indian High Commission, Colombo, Indian Embassy, Damascus, and Indian Embassy, Cairo. His postings at headquarters include Chief of Staff to External Affairs Minister. Mr. Sudhir holds a degree of Bachelor of Technology from the Indian Institute of Technology, New Delhi, and has pursued diplomatic studies at Oxford University in UK. He is currently an associate editor on the editorial board of OPEC Energy Review. Mr. Sudhir is married and is blessed with 2 daughters. We would like to invite him for his address.
Sister Jayanti, Sister Jyotika, senior officials of Dubai Police, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. India and the UAE are connected in multiple ways, but I think the most important connect between the two is civilizational and cultural. It's for the same reason that generations of Amaratis have been visiting Mumbai and other Indian cities and continue to do so. It's also for the same reason that 3.5 million Indians have made the UAE their home. Sheikh Zayed's vision of tolerance, harmony, and peace pervades the ethos of the UAE, as does the similar vision of the great father of the nation of India, Mahatma Gandhi. The Brahmakumaris have taken these values to a deeper level. Their work is indeed admirable. They promote deep inner peace and harmony. In my view, their hallmark is simplicity. Anyone, regardless of religion, nationality, language, can easily connect with their philosophy because spirituality has no religion, peace has no language, and truth is simple. And these values are all universal. I want to also highlight that in the age of metaverse, it's difficult to escape stress, whether at work or at home. I remember that as school-going children, we never heard of these words, stress and anxiety. But today, it's difficult to avoid these words. Even children get stressed in school. All of us do, doing whatever we do in our day-to-day lives. But then there is hope. Brahma Kumaris show us the light of hope and share with us about how to cope. Inner growth and work on becoming better human beings is a constant endeavor, and Brahma Kumaris, I think, make the path to reach there much easier, faster, and more efficient. In my own diplomatic career, which has taken me across continents, I've always found Brahma Kumaris everywhere, spreading the message of peace and harmony. Being with Brahma Kumaris and adopting their teachings as a way of life always energizes me. I'm sure many of you resonate with me. I'm really happy that Sister Jayanti is among us today. Her presence is always very inspiring. As much as you all, I too am eagerly looking forward to listening to them. But before I conclude, I must thank Dubai Police to allow Raj Yoga Center to make use of this beautiful facility to spread this message of peace and harmony, inner peace and inner harmony. Thank you very much. And peace be to all. Om Shanti.
Thank you so much, His Excellency. And I would request if we could felicitate him with a little token of a gift from, on behalf of the Raj Yoga Center. Sister Jayanti and Sister Jyoti can please offer the gift. Thank you, His Excellency. Your presence here is really invaluable to all of us. Sister Jayanti Kriplani is an emissary for peace, a spiritual leader, and an author of several inspiring books on spirituality and public speaking. Sorry, and is a sought-after public speaker. She's not written about public speaking. She currently is the additional administrative head of the Brahma Kumaris World Spiritual University. She's also its regional director for Europe and Middle East, and she is its NGO representative to the United Nations, Geneva. As a teacher of meditation and a spiritual speaker for more than 57 years, Sister Jayanti represents the Brahma Kumaris in its engagement with the international community through the United Nations. With climate change as one of the biggest threats to humanity, Sister Jayanti has been leading the Brahma Kumaris environmental initiatives as an observer organization to the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. As an emissary of peace, she raises awareness about the connection between consciousness and climate change and teaches people about inner resilience as they endeavor to make the planet a better place. Sister Jayanti's unique ability to impart the deepest spiritual truths with utmost clarity enables her to connect with leaders from all walks of life, be it government, business, environmental, social, religious, or spiritual, helping them rediscover the innate virtues present in every individual. Sister Jayanti was instrumental in the establishment of many meditation centers during the 1980s in several countries, including UK, Hong Kong, the Caribbean, Japan, South Africa, and several other European countries. A little bit about her background. Sister Jayanti was born in Pune, in India, in 1949 and migrated to England in the 1950s. From the age of 8, she grew up and studied in Britain and experienced the English way of life of that era and its cultural influence. She returned to India at the age of 19 and discovered her calling, leaving behind her study of pharmacy at the University of London as she began her life's path of spiritual study and service with the Brahma Kumaris. We're all glad that she is here with us now. Let's put our hands together in listening to her keynote welcome. Sister Jayanti.
Thank you, Brother Prakash. And a warm greeting of peace. Om Shanti to all the dignitaries here, to Your Excellency, and to our dear sisters who are here, and my family, brothers and sisters gathered here today. I hope that when you leave this auditorium this evening, you will carry away with yourself the feeling of hope for the future, but also knowing how to be able to heal the self. Why? Because being able to heal is a very important part of life today and for the future. There's an expression that always stays in my mind when I see the suffering of people, and that is hurt people hurt people. It's true, isn't it? If I've been hurt, then the sorrow that I carry is going to be expressed in some form or another to the people that I'm connected with. And so this action-reaction of hurt and sorrow and more hurt and sorrow just seems to intensify, whether it's on a one-to-one basis, or whether it's communities, or even whether it's the story of the world. But the future is in our hands. This is the hope that carries me forward. The founder, Brahma Baba, had a vision of a better world, a vision in which there was equality, truth, justice, a world in which everyone could be happy. It sounds like an impossible dream, but when he understood that whatever it is that we're doing in the world today comes through the process of education, whether it's education for good things or even whether it's education into bad things, whatever it is that we do, we've been educated to do that. The story of Oliver Twist by Charles Dickens, and how a person who's innocent can be educated into something that's very, very wrong. But equally, it is in our hands also to choose the education we would like and to be able to follow that through in our lives. And Brahma Baba had the vision of spiritual education. There's many, many different types of education, but spiritual education is the need of the hour. And I say this because if we look at so many of the situations around in the world, and just a few days ago, I heard a new expression, and that is perma-crisis. Does it resonate? We're used to hearing of one crisis and another one and another one and another one, but now it seems that one crisis is not yet over and a few others have come also. So it's not a happy world when you're in a state of perma-crisis, but we have it in our power to be able to change the narrative and create a story in which there is love and truth and joy. And I say this because the original state of being of every human being is actually one of goodness. Do you agree with me? Who agrees? Just indicate. Slowly, slowly. I'll ask the question again. How many of you agree that the original natural state of the human spirit is of goodness? Okay, it's looking a bit better now. But it is absolutely true. And so, starting with that belief, then it means that we have had that experience at some point, and if we today choose, this is what we can emerge and create again within the world around us. It starts with ourselves, being able to experience it within, and then being able to express it in our relationships with each other. And that is what you will see happen. It's a world in which we don't usually depend on beliefs. I may believe something, you may believe something else. But what we do usually agree with is if there's some type of research. And if the research validates our beliefs, then that's good. So many years ago, we ran a little project and we thought it was going to be reaching some countries, but it actually reached 128 countries. And it became the largest non-governmental organization survey that's been ever undertaken. And as I say, not just in terms of numbers of countries, but in numbers of the population of each country also. And we asked people 3 questions. What is your vision of a better world? Second question, how do you see relationships in that better world? And thirdly, how do you see yourself in that better world? And we thought that we'd get very creative ideas, we'd have very brilliant projects coming up for discussion through all of this. And you'll be interested to know that when people spoke about a better world, they didn't speak about bigger houses or better cars or anything like this. What they spoke about was seeing a world of love, of truth, of harmony. And then when they spoke about better relationships, again, these were the words that kept coming up. Love and sincerity and honesty and joy. And when they spoke about how they see themselves, it was again, now you know, no surprise, it was again these values of the human spirit. And so it gave us an idea that whatever materialism has done to us, however much consumerism has taken away our own inner joy, thinking that joy is somewhere out there. But when people are allowed to reflect, and when they begin to think deeply about what's going on in their lives and in the world, this voice of conscience speaks from within. And they're actually able to say that, yes, the better world will be a world of values. And within that too, spiritual values. And so we created a list of 12 different values that came up from across the world. Every region of the world participated in this project. And so I have no hesitation in saying that because values still live in human hearts, it's possible to again allow these values to be expressed in our lives so that once again we have a world of values. And that's it. If you want to create a better world, that's all you need to do. Just go back to the values that are deeply instilled within every human being, and you'll have a better world for sure. And so I hope this gives you hope for tomorrow, that although it seems to be a time of great darkness, and I don't need to list all the things that are going on, you know all those things already, but we've forgotten how to connect with the inner being. And so we see the darkness out there. But the darkness out there started because, unfortunately, the light within became a little bit dim. And in fact, probably, if I ask you another question, and that is, when was the last time you had a conversation with yourself? Can you remember? Was it this morning? Maybe, wonderful. But for some, maybe it was, well, you'd have to scratch your head and say, when was it? Maybe when I was on holiday, or maybe when it was a Sabbath day, maybe it was last week. But something that should be happening inside of me on a continual basis, on a regular basis, that's been forgotten. And so the light within has become dimmer and dimmer till I actually don't even know who I am. And so tonight, I hope that everyone goes out with renewed hope and the healing of the heart that begins to happen when we ignite the light within. And that's not difficult. It's simply to know that this physical form that I see, that is visible, extremely precious, very valuable, and I, the inner being, can do nothing without it. But actually, this is just the external form. I am that inner being within the soul. I am that soul inside. And this is at the heart of all traditions, that we have a physical body, but yet the human spirit is something else. And so all of us actually are connected now with the spirit within, because when you start thinking about it, you begin to feel it, and you begin to know that that is the reality. And so when we connect as that inner being with the inner being, then the barriers that exist otherwise just dissolve, they fade away. And so in that awareness of who I am, I'm not only connecting with the spirit in a theoretical sense, I'm actually connecting with the qualities that make up spirit. You know, the body is made up of bones and flesh and protein and carbohydrate and all the things that you can find out. But the inner being, what is that made up of? Not bones and flesh, but it's made up of my thoughts, my feelings, my awareness, my consciousness, my personality, my memory. Can you measure any of these things? Can you weigh any of these things? Can you weigh your thoughts? Can you weigh your feelings? So once we are aware of this, then being aware of what's going on inside of me, I also connect with the qualities that I hold inside. Peace. Where do I find peace? Do I find it somewhere out there? Go to the mountains, go to the seashore, and maybe you come back exhausted. Go away on holiday. You don't always come back refreshed in the way that you had wanted, but go on a different type of journey. Go inside. Go deeper and deeper within, and you'll come to that silent space that is there within you. And in that sacred space, you'll be able to discover peace. And once you open the door of peace, you discover many other treasures that are there within. In that awareness of who I am as peace, I discover love, which is interesting. Because again, although we know in theory that you can't buy love, that's what we're told. But the reality in life is that we try and prove we can. And so we try very hard to find love and buy love, but it's not available. And what I need to do is to go on that inner journey and find the love that is within. There's a very lovely song by Whitney Houston, and it's been coming back to my mind again and again in recent times. And that is, the biggest love that I learn is to be able to love myself. And when I find that love, then I have a dignity that no one can ever snatch away from me. And it's true. You see, the Testament tells us that we have to love our neighbor as ourselves. But we find that neighbors quarrel. Isn't that the usual thing? Whether it's over the boundary wall, or whether it's too much noise, or whether it's your garden, my garden. So on a very limited level, neighbors tend to do that. But neighboring countries, again, your water, my space, your space. So we've forgotten how to love our neighbors. And the person I'm sitting next to is my neighbor. How much do I love them? But it's because we've forgotten the rest of that commandment. Love thy neighbor as you would love yourself. And so because we've forgotten how to love ourselves, we really don't know how to love anyone else, and we don't know how to love our neighbors. And so if I think about all the issues of the world today, and the most pressing concern is to be able to know the self and to tap into those inner resources that we all carry, but we've forgotten to use them. And they say that if you've got talent and skills and resources, you either use it or you lose it. That's generally the case. You have skills in art, talent in art, and you get so busy with just earning your livelihood and running around that you forget to use your artistic skills, and they get somewhat buried. And after some years, you suddenly say, well, maybe I should write that again. And you start, and it's going to take you a little while to get back into it. You've lost it. And then, yes, you have to work hard to regain it. But the same thing. Our inner resources are treasures, and we've forgotten to go inside and connect with them. And once we learn to reconnect with ourselves, then yes, we're able to express these in our lives. And so together then, it is definitely possible to create a better world, no question about it. And when I learn to love myself, then of course I'm going to be able to love you. I'm going to be able to love the place that I live. I'm going to be able to love all the beings in this universe. I'm going to be able to love our home, this planet. Just think about what we've done to nature. What happened? We forgot that nature has blessed us with abundance. So how grateful should we be? And to what extent should I love nature around me? And so on all levels. Yes, it is within us to create a better world. And it's very simple. Just press that button of awareness. Just like you just have to press a button and the light comes on. In the same way, it's not a physical thing, but become aware of that inner being and press that button and the light will come on. And all I have to do is remember that this is who I am. I think I'm this, but in fact, this tells me very little about myself. How many people would fit the physical description of this? A few million out of the billions of the population? Several million. Height, weight, age, color, gender. Many would fit that same description. But that doesn't tell me anything about who I am. What does it tell you? It doesn't tell you anything about me. You need to spend time with me to get to know me by having a conversation with me, and then you'll know who I am. But for me to know myself, I need to go through that same journey. I need to spend time with myself. I need to start having a dialogue with myself. I need to ask myself, what is it that I really want? And having understood that, probably you'd come back to the 5 original qualities of the soul: love, peace, truth, joy, and purity. These are the ingredients that I carry within myself. And probably if you keep asking yourself, well, I think I want a bigger house. Well, why do I want a bigger house? I want more space. But why do I want more space? I want time to be with myself. Why do I want time to be with myself? I want peace. And to think back over all the questions you can ask yourself about possible answers to this question, what do I really want? And you'll come back to one of these 5 ingredients that you carry within yourself anyway. And so once I make this discovery, then the problems that I'm facing are not problems, they're challenges, but I have the capacity to deal with all of those issues. Again, a challenge for you to reflect on. If not tonight, then tomorrow at some point. Tomorrow is a holiday, so you have plenty of time. Holiday means a holy day, time to spend with yourself and family. And so I don't want your sleep to be disturbed tonight, but tomorrow spend time just exploring this, and you'll come back to these 5 essential qualities. And so what's that telling me? The same as the research project that we had done, that what we really long for is a world of values. But it can't begin with somebody telling you this is important. It begins when I'm ready to go on my own journey within and discover all of these qualities within myself. And yes, there is another ingredient, and that ingredient is the one above. And it's very simple, just with my thoughts, just as I can connect with human beings, just with the power of my thoughts. Have you tried that? I'm sure you've experienced it many times. You think about somebody, and sure enough, there's a message on your phone. Think about somebody, and there they are trying to call you. And so proof that when there's a connection, a bond, then our thoughts reach each other. Well, connecting with the source, the one above, the source of light, of love, of truth. When my thoughts connect with the one above, from that being, I'm able to draw the power to be able to have the light within ignited and to keep that light burning brightly. In a world of darkness, it's very easy to lose sight of what I need to do. We're living in a world in which there's fake news. News comes through, and you wonder, is it for real? There's a very interesting situation last year. I saw somebody, a little video came my way, and it was somebody holding a flag with that point of light, that symbol that we meditate on. And she was in South Antarctica. And I thought, this is really not true. But that same day, I had a phone call from the person in California. And she said to me, guess where I've been? I've just been to the South Antarctica. I said, was that a photograph of you holding this flag with a symbol? She said, yes, it was. And it was for real. She'd actually gone to the South Antarctica with her husband, and they were just going as tourists. But they stopped over in Argentina when they flew across from California. And the sisters there said to them, they went to our center in Buenos Aires, and the sisters there said to them, well, you're going to such a powerful place on the universe. You must take this with you and plant it. And the girl said, I don't think it's going to be possible. Okay, never mind, let me carry it with me. So she took it in her luggage. And it was a tourist guided tour. And they had a guide who was explaining to them the do's and don'ts of what you do, etc., etc. And when she spoke to the guide and said, can I carry this and put it on the mountain there? And he said, yes, why not? It's a very universal symbol of light. And so she had courage and she took it and she planted it there. But, the first thought when I saw this picture was, it's fake, because there's so much fake news around. And then because I know her personally, so she had called me, and then I recognized that is the face, because you couldn't see the face so clearly. You could just see this flag with this point of light. So it's a world in which we mistrust. We don't trust everything we're seeing. But when you begin to understand that because we're surrounded by darkness, that's why there's this mistrust. But keep the light shining and keep on allowing that light to go brighter and brighter. And then many lights coming together in this way. If one little light can show the way in darkness, then all of these lights multiplied together can really enhance the situation. And what you can do is to bring light into the world, not just in your little world. That'll happen first. You'll find that things begin to move in a different energy. Things begin to move in a different direction. Things begin to come together in synchronicity. And it doesn't happen by chance. It happens because the right energy is in place. And so synchronicity isn't something that happens with magic. Synchronicity is something that happens with the right intention. And that then creates that energy that makes things happen in a very beautiful way. And so, yes, hope for the future is in our hearts, because we hold the destiny of the world in our hearts. People always think, I, one, alone, what can I do? What difference can I make? But everything begins with one. And in India, they say, 1 and 1 isn't just 2, 1 and 1 is 11. And if you have 1 and 1, and you add a 0 and another 0 and another 0, what works then? It's a very interesting arithmetical situation. Just keep adding the 1 and 1 and 1 and 1. It's not complicated maths, very simple. And the energy grows. And when I say keep adding 0, 0, 0, connecting with the source the being of light, that is your zero. And add on 0, 0, 0, and that energy grows and grows. And so I know for sure that after any period of darkness, what happens next? Does darkness carry on forever, forever, forever? When you're in Scandinavia, the darkness starts at 3:30 in the afternoon and carries on till 9:30 in the morning. And maybe at 4 o'clock you look out in the morning and see it's dark. But you know it's going to finish, even in that time. So definitely, a child will say, it's dark, I'm scared. How long is this going to last? But the parent will say, it's okay. There's going to be light. In just a little while, the day is going to come. And so for sure, not to give up hope because it's dark, but to know for sure that there is to be a world of light in the future, not so far away. Because when things reach an extreme point, that's then the turning point. Things change. And so I really think, just looking at what's happened in the year 2022, we reached many, many extreme points in so many different ways that I think we reached that climax that will then change. Once you hit the peak, it's going to go round and it's going to bring about change. So we are the instruments of change. You've given up a Saturday evening, precious time at home with the family or friends to be here. So that's telling me that the light is already shining in all of you. You've taken that step of being here, knowing that it was going to be a spiritual evening. And so the light is already shining, and it just has to be kept burning brightly and shine even more and more. I want to talk a little bit about the healing. What is it that I can do to heal myself? One, I have to learn to forgive. Somebody said to Daddy Jayanti, and many of you know Daddy Jayanti. So they said to Daddy, I've been able to forgive everyone in my life except 3 people. That's all. It's only 3 people. And she said, well, that's 3 people too many. And he looked surprised and he said, what do you mean? And she said that, well, if there's a toxin somewhere, a toxin in water, well, you can't say it's only 3 drops of toxin. It's spread throughout the water. Would you drink that? You wouldn't. And so if there's 3 people you haven't forgiven, that's toxicity in your heart. And that is what is causing you the pain and sorrow. And every time your memory goes back, as soon as you see those people, you haven't left the planet, they're still around, you're still around, you get in touch with them, they get in touch with you because they're relatives. But every time you catch a glimpse of them or somebody speaks of them, the memory returns. And memory is very interesting. We have memories that are subconscious. We have memories that are unconscious. And so we forget that we're not just logical creatures of reason. How often is it that we use logic to make a decision? When it's work, usually logic and reason come in. When it's personal relationships, what happens to logic and reason? Somehow we forget about it. And then it's our feelings and emotions that take over. Am I right? I'm seeing many people nod their heads. So, yeah. We're creatures that have feelings, not just logic. We have minds, we have hearts, and we have intellects. And so each one has a very important role to play. But the problem with feelings is that every time you allow a feeling of pain to emerge, and even more than just the feeling, probably you start talking about it and you start sharing the pain. And what you're doing is creating an atmosphere of pain and sorrow. And I'm not saying suppress your feelings, but it's possible to understand the past in terms of what are the lessons that I learned from the past. Or even sometimes the situation is difficult, but after that, things seem to change. And because this happened, that happened, and that happened, and that happened, I can trace it back. And I can see how where I am today is because of all the things that happened in the past. And where I am today is good. It's not uncomfortable, it's not painful, but that memory gets stirred and the memory brings back again. And I cause myself suffering. I can feel pain in my body, but I don't need to suffer. Suffering is different to pain. That I keep causing suffering to myself by reviving memories of sorrow and pain. And so what I have to learn to do is forgive. And when I'm ready to let go and forgive, then in that forgiving, I'm not doing the other person a favor. The favor is to myself, because I'm liberating myself from pain and sorrow. I'm letting myself become free from the burden of the past that I carry. And so, first step towards healing the self is being able to let go, understand what happened in the past was a lesson to learn from that and move forward. The next year, this person met Addl again, and he said to her, I've let go of 2 people, and there's only one person, but this person really caused me so much suffering. And she said, well, 1 drop of poison is okay. Would you be ready to drink that water? And he then said, okay. And I met him recently. And he said, do you remember the lesson that Daddy taught me? Well, I can now truly say that my heart feels very clean, that I've been able to let go. And yes, all of that is now in the past. And so one is to be able to forgive. The other is to learn the lessons from the past. But one more thing, and that is the love of the divine. Whatever name I choose, whatever language I use is fine, but to know that there is a being who is the source of love. And when I take love from the divine, then healing process happens. Because then I'm experiencing the love that is unconditional, the love that is non-judgmental, a love that seeks no return, a love that's actually able to fill me and heal me. And so that becomes a very important part of our journey also. And if my memories can be memories of joy, you can choose. Just like you can choose about the quality of thoughts. You can choose whether to let your negative thoughts run wild and then to bring them back and make them peaceful is hard work. But when you know that there's something that triggers a reaction in you, and you know yourself well enough to be able to pick up, now this has happened and maybe this can lead me into feelings that are not so pleasant. I don't want that. Okay, so this has happened. Can I choose to turn my feelings and make them different? Yes. My thoughts create my feelings. And I'm totally in charge of my thoughts if I wish to be. And so can I make that choice and choose positive feelings, pure feelings, noble feelings, elevated feelings? Possible? Why not? I have a choice. And so I can do that. So just as I can choose my thoughts and my feelings, similarly, when there's a trigger and a memory comes up, can I turn it around? And instead of pondering over it and allowing it to consume me and create all the feelings of something that happened 20 years ago, now I choose a different memory. I choose a memory of joy. And we all carry memories of joy within ourselves. There have been moments of beautiful experiences, whether with our parents, whether with our friends, whether with our partners, moments of pure joy and love. And so emerge those feelings, those memories, and you'll find that it leaves you with a very good feeling inside. And so I can choose. And the more I keep those beautiful memories fresh in my mind, the happier I am, and the other memories will begin to fade. It's a reality. Take a pencil and draw a mark on a piece of paper. Circle it around and around and around. And the image, the imprint, becomes so heavy that it's difficult to erase. But you have modern mechanisms. You can press a button and delete. You don't have to keep things you don't like. You can delete. And so instead of reviving the old memories by emerging them, and again, the pity for the self and the sorrow that's being coming back, no, I don't want that anymore. I want to emerge the sweet memories, the beautiful memories. And the other memories, just press that delete button and don't give yourself permission to explore them and repeat them. And definitely don't talk about them, because that's further underlining the same. And so the more you learn to do this, the easier it will be for you to experience a situation in which, when the heart is healed, it's able to fill love and happiness. And whatever you have inside is what you're going to share outside also. So if we can learn to share love and happiness, which is what relationships are actually meant for, then what does the future hold? The future is also one of love and happiness. And so I believe that human minds are exploring these ideas more and more. I believe that science is supporting all this information. Positive psychology wasn't on the scene 30 years ago. And now they tell us that meditation is the way to increase your positive feelings and emotions. They tell you that. Check it out on the research that's happening. Consciousness is a subject that science is exploring. There's a book called The Biology of Belief by Dr. Bruce Lipton. And that tells you that you can either suppress genes or you can express genes. And so somebody tells you, you know, your grandfather had cancer, your father had cancer, you're surely going to get cancer also. Don't believe it. You can express the gene or you can suppress the gene. And so experiences of happiness and love and truth will allow you to express this. And giving way to sorrow and bad feelings and negativity is going to do something else. So the future is in our hands, which is a beautiful thought. We are in charge of the world we choose to create. And so we just have to take the right steps and make the right decisions, the right choices. And the future world is one of love and truth. I believe that absolutely. And I believe that all of us together can make it happen. Let's have a few minutes of silence. I'm going to speak my own thoughts as we reflect. And I invite you to follow these ideas in your own mind. Because the biggest question that always comes is, what do I do in meditation? How can I make my mind silent? Well, good news. You don't have to make your mind silent. You just have to change its direction. It can either think about negative things, it can think about waste things, it can think about ordinary things, or it can think about reality and truth, the self and the divine. Sitting quietly, letting both feet be on the ground, letting the body feel comfortable so that it can relax and not cost any thoughts. I turn inwards, going deeper and deeper into the energy that sits in the center of the forehead. I go deeper and deeper. And I come to that awareness of the inner being, the being of light. I connect with myself. And I can feel the peace within, peace which feels comfortable, peace which belongs to me, peace which is natural. I realize I am the being of peace. I'd forgotten this, but now that I remember, peace is my own treasure. I can feel it. And in this awareness of peace, I can feel the love that is there within. Aware of the inner being, the love for the self is ignited. And as a result of that, I can also sense the truth, which is my original state of being. Originally, I, the soul, was true. And the more I stay in this awareness, the easier it is to let go of falsehood. It simply drops away. I return to a sense of joy, which is my natural state of being. And I hold this. I started my journey clean, pure. And I know that this is within me. And with the power that comes from the divine, connecting with the one above, I take that strength to return to this original natural state once more. Om Shanti. Thank you for joining this experiment. And my hope is that you'll spend time with yourself in this way, at least for some time every morning and sometime every evening, and maybe more than just a few moments. But I'm sure that even the few minutes that you spend in this way will be helpful for you to keep the hope shining brightly and the process of healing to take place. Thank you for your attention. Thank you to our hosts here. Much appreciation. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sister Jayanti, for those pearls of wisdom and for giving us a deep experience of our own peaceful selves and making it feel so natural. I'm sure all of us would go back, and the best return for the wonderful time that you spent with us is to practice what we've actually taken from here today. I would like to now call upon a very senior member of the Raj Yoga Center, Brother Rajshekhar, who is a structural engineer by profession and who has worked not just in the UAE, but has worked in many parts of the world. And he's been practicing Raj Yoga and teaching Raj Yoga for almost 40 years now. He's obviously very famous for the humor he brings in all the subjects that he speaks about. And I'd like to invite him to propose the vote of thanks for us today.
Good evening to everyone. And I'm immensely very happy to see you all, a nice gathering over here. I would say the stars of UAE, the selected, some are very shining and some are more shining. Very good. Actually, Prakash also means light. And Sister Jyoti, she's also light. And we have two more Jyotis here. And she has enlightened us, with one thought that she said, when we change our thoughts, our actions will be changed. Then accordingly, the future will be changed. That was Sister Jyoti. And Sister Jayanti mentioned about qualities and also values, you remember? And also she said you have to bring back your memories, good memories. Like now, today is a good memory, which you are carrying along with you. When you bring those moments, the doctors will be expelled. So you have, Jayanti means birthday. So I'm sure that, you have carrying something with you, that some insight into your value as well as your quality. The three values she mentioned, love, peace, and happiness. And the two H, we will never forget, that is hope and healing. But also you need to have three more H to experience that. That is hands, means you have to have the determined thought. In addition to that, your head has to be used, hands, head, and of course the heart. So three H's. So 2H plus 3H. You know, near our ADCB Metro, there is a Union Cooperative Supermarket with three rings. I used to wonder what these three rings means. I realize now, those three rings are, one is the creator, other is the human selves, and the third one is nature. So she said that we have to connect ourselves with the creator, and we have to communicate with him, and we have to collaborate with him. So this is what it is. Union with one and harmony with all. So this is what I carry, among you. And I thought I'll just remind you all, before we call it a day. And I would just, request you to give her a big hand again to our keynote, Sister Jayanti. And also, Sister Jyoti for her welcome address. She said, Karni and Barni, that through your actions, your future is made. That's what she mentioned. And also His Excellency Sunjay Sudhir and his wife for their presence here, and then added ambience. Please give them a big hand, please. Boy Police Club and their team, please give them a big hand. And also, I would like to thank at this moment all the students, teachers, and volunteers of Raj Yoga Center. They also cooperated. Thank you so much for your august presence, for all the distinguished guests, and also everyone who is present here. Thank you so much indeed.
Thank you so much, Brother Rajshekar. So they say a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. We've taken a beautiful single step today, and I'm sure if we continue in this journey, we have a very, very beautiful and bright future full of hope and healing. So we wish you all the very best. And as you exit, so please, if you could just exit in a single file, we'll have the volunteers who will show you outside, but you'll be receiving a box of virtues within which you will have some dates. So please have the dates and keep the box. I'm sure you're not going to eat the box and keep the dates, but I mean, don't throw the box away. Keep the box because it's a virtue box that you can use and reuse, and you can toss it up every single day in the morning and see which virtue do you want to take with you and you want to embody or be. So it's going to be a very beautiful way in which, a very creative way, think of creative ways in which you can use that box. So please retain that box, and we wish you a very good evening, and thank you so much for your august presence.
Where to stay, some that can stay in bike, some that can stay mount up. So we wanted to know about that also. Then where do you stay?
I would suggest that you begin the day as early as possible, giving time for yourself, time for silence, to talk to yourself, to talk to the divine, and then some time for spiritual study. Read something that's going to nourish the soul. so that you put your mind on the right track for the rest of the day. So that was easy. Gratitude is one aspect, but also just starting to look at yourself and making sure that you keep your thoughts pure and elevated to begin the day, and then spiritual study. And a second, yes, I had the good fortune of meeting Brahma Baba, and his personality was noble, very pure, very charismatic, and when he looked at you, you felt as if he could read your mind. And that is true, that he was very aware of the person and could understand, discern exactly what was the core of their being. And today, I see him as my guide, the one who's making sure that I stay on track. And the third thing, physically, I live in London, but I travel a lot and I spend quite a good few months in Addl now. So that was brief answers to everything. I know that many of you would want to leave, it's time. So maybe you can continue this discussion with some of the sisters in Dubai at the center. You're welcome.